Now I invite Anupama Sajan and Anoop Pillai of Department of Law, Central University of Kerala to present Impact of Lokayukta Amendment Bill 2022. Please.
Later, the same was introduced as a bill before the Kerala Legislative Assembly, which invited a row of criticism. Through this paper, we try to examine the proposed amendment to the Act of 1999 in a critical viewpoint. Lokpal and Lokayukta. It came into force on 16 January 2014. Even before the Act came to force, Lokayuktas were functioning in some states like Maharashtra, Kerala, etc. A Lokpal is an anti-corruption authority or body of ombudsman who represent public interest in Republic of India. The current chairperson of Lokpal is Pinaki Chandra Ghosh. It has jurisdiction over Central to inquire into allegations of corruption against its public functionaries and for matters connected to corruption. The Lokpal has jurisdiction to inquire into allegations of corruption against anyone who is or has been the Prime Minister or a minister in the Union of Government or a member of the Parliament, as well as officials of the Union Government under Group A, B, C, and D. The Lokayukta, on the other hand, is the Indian Parliamentary Ombudsman executed into power through and for each of the state government of India. It is brought into effect in a state after passing the Lokayukta Act in respective state legislature. Once appointed, Lokayukta cannot be dismissed or transferred by the government and can only be removed by passing an impeachment motion by state assembly. He protects citizens' right against maladministration, corruption, delay, inefficiency, non-transparency, abuse of position, improper conduct, etc. And now, about Kerala Lokayukta. Kerala Lokayukta was formed even before the Parliament passed the Lokpal and Lokayukta Act. It was formed under Kerala Lokayukta and Upalokayukta Act of 1999. It is high-level statutory functionary created to address grievances of public against ministers, legislatures, administration, and public servants in issues related to misuse of power, maladministration, and corruption. Kerala Lokayukta acts as a strong force against corruption in the state. It has resolved more than 35,000 cases since it established. The Lokayukta pronounced various notable decisions. Some of the decisions are: it has issued notices to Chief Minister and some of his ministers in the year of 2019 on a complaint filed alleging misuse of funds from Chief Minister's Distress Relief Fund. And Kerala Lokayukta recommended action against the serving higher education and minority welfare minister K.T. Jalil for appointing his second cousin K.T. Adib to Kerala State Minorities Development Finance Corporation as General Manager after modifying the eligibility for the post and abusing the power of a minister. And about Kerala Lokayukta Amendment Bill 2022 and its criticism. After the Kerala governor refused to give assent to the ordinance, the government of Kerala introduced the same as a bill before the Legislative Assembly of Kerala and passed the bill, to which the opposition as well as many of the citizens protested, citing that this bill diminishes the power of Lokayukta. The opposition leader P.T. Satheeshan even went to the extent of calling the day of introduction of bill as a black day in the history of the state legislature. The bill proposes to amend Section 14, Clause 1 of the Act of 1999, which states that if the Lokayukta is satisfied that concerned public servant should not continue to hold his office, then the public servant has to accept the declaration of Lokayukta. The amendment changes the law from where the competent authority is the governor, the government of Kerala, or chief minister, he or it shall accept the declaration to either accept or reject the verdict of the Lokayukta after an opportunity of being heard. This change is substantial as it reduces the power of Lokayukta to merely recommendatory in nature, thus diluting its powers to binding government with its orders. Under the existing law, the order of Lokayukta is binding and the appropriate authority have no other option than to accept the declaration. Even the court have refused to interfere with the decision of Lokayukta, citing the absence of appeal provision against a declaration made by Lokayukta. The absence of appeal provision, on the other hand, can be seen as a sign of arbitrariness. The new amendment limits the adjudicatory power of Lokayukta to merely an advisory board. And the final decision rests with the appropriate authority whether to enforce the declaration made by the Lokayukta or not. And apart from the controversies surrounding this proposed amendment, the timing of the introduction of bill also invited a lot of criticism. That is, a cabinet minister, as I said before, KT Jalil, had to resign from his chair because he has found to be guilty of nepotism by Lokayukta. The Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and the Higher Education Minister of the state, Dr. R. Bindu, was also under the inquiry of Lokayukta when the government introduced such a bill limiting the power of Lokayukta. Justification for the act. There are various recent judgments by Supreme Court and High Court which suggest justifications. The Supreme Court in Chandrasekharaya versus Janaki C. Krishna, while examining the Karnataka Lokayukta Act of 1984, held that the reports of Lokayuktas are only recommendatory in nature and no civil consequences follows from these reports. The same was affirmed in Bhumika Cleantech Services Private Limited versus Lokayukta for Goa, Lokayukta Act 2011 by the Bombay High Court. And conclusion and suggestion. The new amendment clearly diminishes the power of Lokayukta, a superior anti-corruption body of Kerala. If the new amendment gets the assent of the governor, then Lokayukta's power to adjudicate a matter will be lost. Even though the absence of appeal provision against the order of Lokayukta is a problem to be resolved, diminishing the power of it and making it a mere advisory body is not something that can be justified when we Keralites show ourselves as a model for the whole nation. This defeats the staged long-running campaign against corruption and diminishes the confidence of the population on the government. We recommend including an appeal provision in the Act against the order passed by Lokayukta and a speedy disposal of the same by the court. We strongly disagree with the move by the government to diminish powers of the Lokayukta. Thank you.